These are the assembly instructions for my faceted heart-shaped box. So these are the pieces for the lid of my box. My white pieces are cut out of 80-pound cardstock, and my pink glittery pieces are glitter cardstock. For all of my white pieces, I'm going to fold down on all the score lines. So I have some larger pieces, and then I have the smaller pieces, which are all numbered on the top tab. So I'm just folding down on all the score lines for all 10 of those numbered pieces. For all of these pieces, I have my decorative glitter layer. I just want to make sure that I've paired up the proper decorative pieces with the right base piece. So I'm just continuing along, folding down on all the score lines. So now that I've folded down on all the score lines, it makes it much easier to see where I need to adhere my decorative panels. So for every single one of these pieces, I have a small border all the way around. If I fold the side tab down, I want to glue my decorative piece so that there's an even border all the way around that rectangle that's left. I'm doing the same thing with the trapezoid shape at the top. I'm gluing it down so that there's an even border all the way around it. And I'm doing that for all of the pieces. So for the lid, the one piece that doesn't have a decorative layer is this one white heart. Makes it a lot easier to adhere my decorative layer while the pieces are still flat. So when you're gluing down for these numbered pieces, you want to make sure that you've matched up the proper decorative layer for each piece. So I've placed all my pieces in numerical order, and this is the order in which you're going to glue them down to the center heart piece. So I have two pieces that are identical for the bottom. I'm making sure that the tabs are on my left-hand side. I'm putting glue all along that top tab, so from the score line to the edge of my piece. And then I'm gluing that piece down so that it follows along the score line exactly. So that very tip of the piece that I'm gluing to my heart is right at the bottom V of my heart. And then the score line for the tab on the end of that piece is right where my heart starts to change direction. I have a series of straight edges to create the curve of my heart. And so this piece ends at the very first one. So next I'm going to take piece number 1, and I'm going to put glue all over the tab that has the number on it, so from the score line to the edge. And then I'm just slipping it under. I want the score line on that tab to be right along that straight edge, that first straight edge that forms the curve of my heart. My tab fits exactly on that first straight edge, like so. And I'm putting glue on both tabs of my first piece, and I'm just joining the cut edge of my second piece to the score line of each one of those tabs. Now I'm taking piece number 2 and putting glue on the very top of that tab, and I'm inserting it on that second straight edge, and I want that score line to be right up against the cut edge of my heart piece. So I'm putting glue on the side tabs of my previous piece, and then just gluing the cut edge of this piece to the score line of those tabs. So now I'm on piece number 3, and I'm going to do the same thing. Piece number 4, same thing. So now I'm at piece number 5. I'm just being careful that this cut edge follows along the path of my score line for my tabs. This one's a little trickier than the others. Piece number 6. So we're halfway done. So piece number 6 is a mirror image of piece number 5. And again, it's a little bit tricky because these tabs get folded in the opposite direction. So normally the tabs fold downwards like so, but for these ones, you want to fold those tabs upwards. And then just adhere that cut line right against the tab. So that's that top V of your heart. I'm just going to continue all the way around, adhering my pieces in the exact same way. So all along, I'm just making sure that these score lines are nice and even. So now I'm down to the last piece. I'm just putting glue on that top tab as I've been doing all along, sneaking it in, making sure that those points are even with the points on my heart. I'm putting glue on the side tabs of the previous piece and then just gluing them down. And then I have the 2 tabs at the bottom point of my heart. I'm just putting glue on them and then just closing up my lid. And I'm going to take that extra heart piece and put glue all over the underside of it. So I'm looking at the inside of my lid and I'm just gluing this down right to the base. With the pen feature, you could write a message or a sentiment at the bottom of your lid. I'm just going in with my bone folder and I'm just spreading that glue. So these are the pieces for the bottom of my box. So I have 2 hearts that are exactly the same size, and then I have 4 pieces. These are going to be the walls of my base, so I'm just folding down on all the score lines. So I'm starting with the pieces that have the fewest amount of score lines on them, and they're identical. And they fit right at the bottom of my heart. I've got my long tab at the bottom and 1 tab on the left. I put glue from the score line to the edge on the left tab, and I'm just joining my other piece right at that tab. I want the cut edge of this piece to be right along the score line of my tab, and I want the top edges even and the bottom score lines even as well. This is the outside of my box. This is the inside of my box where I've glued down that tab. I'm putting glue on that long bottom tab. I'm taking one of my heart-shaped pieces and I want to position my heart so that the point of my heart is right at that score line. So it gets positioned right at the bottom score line like so. And I want the edge of my piece just to go along the score line of that tab. And the score line for this tab hits exactly where that piece starts changing direction. So then I'm putting glue on the tab that's on my right hand side, and I'm just gluing it into place as well. The cut edge of my piece should follow along the score line. The cut edge of the right hand side is right where my heart changes direction to create that curve. Next I have these 2 pieces. Now they are mirror images of one another to fit around the heart. The tabs to attach to the form shape are at the bottom. So for the left hand side, using the piece that has the largest panel on the left. It has a small panel and a tab on the right, and it fits right into here. Just putting glue on the side tab of that V shape and then gluing in the left hand piece. So next I'm putting glue on all of those bottom tabs, so from the score line to the edge. And I'm wrapping my piece around and I'm gluing those tabs in, making sure that they follow the lines of my heart. So where my score lines are, that's where the sides of my heart change direction. So there's a point at this score line, a point at this score line, all the way along. So now I have my tab that's at the top V of my heart. I'm just putting glue all along that tab, so it's on the outside of my box. I'm going to take the second piece of the top part of my heart, and I'm just gluing it right up against the score line of my tab, making sure the tops are nice and even. And then I'm putting glue on the tab that's on the other end from the score line to the edge, and then just gluing it to complete my heart shape. So now I have these tabs and they just sort of miraculously fall into place. So I'm looking at the underside of my box and I'm putting glue all along those tabs, folding them down and laying my piece flat. I'm guiding my side just to make sure that all those score lines are at the points of my heart piece. They should fit right between those flat edges that create that curved part of my heart piece. I'm going to flip my piece over, and I have a second heart that I'm going to glue on top. Not only does this hide those tabs, but it also creates a little bit of sturdiness for the bottom of my box. So I'm just covering the underside in glue and just gluing it down to the bottom of my box. I'm trying to make sure that the edges follow nicely. And then I'm going in with my bone folder and just spreading that glue, making sure that it takes. So next I have a piece of foil poster board for the interior of the bottom of my box. I'm just putting glue on the underside of it, and I'm just dropping it into the bottom, trying to center it as best I can. So that's my bottom done, and there's my lid. So that's my faceted heart-shaped box.